to. But the brand's still up, the Zyra's still up. Obviously, all of these AP junglers got some changes. It's not seemed to matter too much in this series today, as Wayward once again just goes for that Cassante. WE have to decide what kind of style they want, and it will be the Sejuani for Yanxiang.
And let's be honest right here, Sejuani was banned the entire series by WE. But right now with RA on blue side, that was going to be again a Lilia B1, so they take that one away. Xiaohao, I'm gonna say it as it was. I think it was a little bit of a greedy pick to grab that Lee Sin into the composition that WE had in game number 2, and it just didn't pan out to be it. Now, he's gonna have to take maybe a little bit more of a backseat, and unless he wants to go towards something like the brand that he hovered. However, maybe something like even a Maokai to just match the tankiness in the jungle, be a little bit more of a nuisance, grab another engage tool for his team as well.
Are you ready for the Xiaohao Ivan to come on through? He's seen TN and he wants a bit of the action. No, different plan comes through. Look at the Zyra here for Xiaohao. So jungle carry still going to be the name of the game for RA, whereas W playing a little bit more setup. And there is Yone available right now. It's decent into the core key. It sets up well for the Sejuani, but no, FoFo just goes for the Azir, goes classic in the mid lane.
That is the epitome of a front to back for your top side of the map for WE. Now they just need a Kraken Slayer 80 carry towards the bot lane, and they are set. Now, instantly when I think of Kraken Slayer 80 carries, there's two that spring to mind, the Jinx and the Aphelios. And Aphelios has already been banned out from the sort of RA. Now, the downside with going with something like the Jinx potentially here is that you do not have active lanes in the early game, and you are going to fall massively behind. So I really hope that WE pulls something potentially like a Kai'Sa that can play potentially a little bit more aggressive with an all-in support.
Well, Kai'Sa's just been denied. But I will say, Abel Lamont played the Zyra Khan in the previous game. That would certainly fit the bill. We've seen plenty of Xayah Azir compositions over the years, and it'd give you a little bit of follow-up engage to the initial Sejuani ultimate as well. But Kalista taking off the board as well as that Jhin, trying to remove some lane pressure from down in the bottom side with the Braum gone. See what the priority will be for WE.
8 AD carry bans have gone down again in this series. It has been the name of the game from literally game number 1. 8 or 9 bot lane bans have been going through. WE, I am not a big fan of this. It takes down that early game spike so much. You do not have an early lane to play through if you're WE. And RA, they've got tools. They've got a fast clearing jungler. They've got a fast pushing mid laner. They could potentially pull a counter pick towards the top side of the map, something potentially like a Camille. You keep someone in the prison, you throw in the Ziggs ult, and that person disappears, and most likely that'll be Abel.
I apologize, I thought I had muted my mic, but it did not. But you're right, the counter pick comes through for Xiaoxu, the Camille. So, winning lanes here for RA, and we'll see if Xiaohao can use those without just diving underneath tier 1 towers twice in the first 5 minutes. On the other side, though, I really like it when we get compositions like this up against each other, because for RA, it's like, okay, we need to see some pace, we need to see a bit of snowballing. For WE, it's like, just chill, you know, try and play as slow as possible while still getting something on the map, while still trading to some extent. But, you know, Smolder Azir in the late game with a huge front line and guaranteed engage. Late game fights look amazing if you can get there.
Yeah, but that's always the issue and the question mark, right? WE have not shown that they're necessarily stable in that early game to get to this point, and it was rather RA that was throwing a bunch of kills to WE's way in game number 2 for FoFo to reach that final boss state. And right here, he's on one of his main champions as well, onto the Azir. He thrives in that late game together with the Smolder, as you said, but will they get there?
That'll be the question. Can WE hold on? I've seen them play these kinds of compositions before. I've seen it work. I've also seen it fall apart. If they fall behind early, it will be very difficult to fight anything. And Ziggs is so good at building that lead and then taking it to other lanes, to destroying those towers and taking control of objectives. It's game number 3 here. RA versus WE. Let's see who can take it and if WE can book this loss streak that they've been on.
军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
I'm just gonna say, I think the microphones have not been turned up all that much, you know? Like, there are people there cheering for their teams. It's just, we don't get the full scoop of it. All right, getting the full scoop of the inside of Yanxiang's jungle once more. This guy has been absolutely hunted for the entire series, no matter the champion that he is on. And Jwei and Assum, just like in game number 2, they're still gonna pressure up and play a little bit more aggressive, trying to get some poke onto Abel and Mark, and that's exactly what you need, right? A Zyra, fast clearing jungler, into 3 pushing lanes for your team. You take those.
Vicla drops a ward onto the chickens as well, as Abel will be spotted. Assum actually managed to get a bomb onto Mark. Nice little shot there. Had the ward at blue buff, so knew where Mark might be, but it was still ultimately blind.
Vanguard?
Spotted on his first camp here. And now we get to see how fast Xiaohao can make it through his jungle. He got to stand at blue buff for as long as he wanted, spawning those plants. Now he gets to power through these camps. See if he can find anything as Yanxiang actually moves to the bottom side.
Not quite close to that level 2. Usually you see Leona in onto a target just about as that level 2 is about to come in. You level that Q as well. Ooh, that was it right there. Very close. Not quite as well. Jwei has been a little bit too eager throwing out these E's. However, now they're going to slow down the wave. They're potentially going to look for another E into a Q evolve. He's looking right here. WE, no. The level 2 is about to come up. The E.
There it is. Mark. Oh, satcheled back into the play. That's a flash. Forced ignite is good as well, as Abel just takes another chunk from a bomb. Assum. Great little satchel there in the trade.
Great combo right there on the crash down to push Mark straight back. They have spotted it there, pinging it, but Jwei's walking into it.
I think Jwei's okay with tanking. He's got that flash, but didn't actually spot the enemy jungler. Yanxiang realizes he doesn't have time to stick around here, moves back to his wolves, was not spotted, so info not there for RA. But look, Xiaohao has already finished his clear. It's 3 minutes on the... It was 259 as the Krugs died. He's moving into the river and potentially setting up a dive. And guess what? Yanxiang is now having to path topside. Abel drops a ward, knows what the play is. We've seen enough Zyra in the LPL at this point, but no, Yanxiang moves back down to the bottom side. The dive is already underway as Mark takes a huge chunk. Abel against the wall and will burn down for first blood, and Assum gets the gold.
Yanxiang had the instinct right there to back off, get back down towards that bot lane and try to help his bot lane survive, but it just wasn't enough. Abel goes down, loses so much experience and gold. And as you can see, Xiaohao, not only is he going to get the bot scout grab, he's going to sprint it towards the top of the map. He has priority through that mid lane once Vicla TP's back in as well. And we could potentially be seeing an invade coming through. They're pinging that red buff right now. Yanxiang is pinging that he wants assistance onto it. FoFo needs to clear out that wave. Get back onto that mid lane, potentially try to help his jungle. You see he's dipping into towards the top side of the jungle right now. Xiaohao, you can't invade through there. You can't make it through walls unless you flash, and he doesn't have the flash.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure if he was going to flash to try and invade Krugs or something then, but just going to drop a ward over.
You know what? There was actually a jungler, I think his name was Noodle, over when I was casting the NOC. This madman, he would flash through Baron Pit.
Hang on a second. Wayward's going a little bit noodly here in the top side. Has to flash away from Xiaoxu. Nice try from Xiaoxu to try and find the solo kill. Mark and Jwei now sparring in the mid lane as well. Anyway, tell me about Noodle.
Yeah, he would basically go level 1 blue buff into through river, flash the Baron Pit, and go straight into enemy red. And he actually was funny because he got a bunch of kills like this. He got a bunch of kills, he stole a bunch of buffs, until, of course, he got figured out and people expected him, or they had set a ward behind the Baron Pit. But it was really flashy, pun intended,
very literally,
at the beginning, because he would literally take blue, sprint through river, flash to the Baron Pit, grab that red buff, take a kill, back off.
I mean, it can be so valuable, right, when people aren't expecting it. And
yeah,
Flash,
for sure.
Yeah, it's such a powerful tool early in the
Vicla?
game. Look at this from Vicla between the towers. Just bullying FoFo. Look at all of this CS being denied. Really nice, aggressive play from Vicla. Doesn't need to be cautious not to tank any extra tower shots, but just going to look to crash this extra wave in. He got his reset off earlier, so he's got his longsword and his tier and wanted to punish FoFo as FoFo now returns to the lane. Does not get his lost chapter. Had to go for a Fiendish Codex instead.
This is what worries me about WE. When you have both teams sort of scaling into that late game, you're like, sure, I'm down to take the fight. I'm better at team fights. I have FoFo on Azir. If we both just chilling and going late game, surely we have the upper hand, right? But RA are taking that early game, and they're most likely going to be able to run away with it. I feel like RA know exactly what went wrong in game number 1, and they're looking to redeem themselves right here. They need as many wins as possible, and if it comes to a stage where they're both even with OMG, but OMG has more games difference than them, then this game that they just lost to WE, if they manage to win the series, will come back to bite them. So they need to be as clean as possible. As I'm saying, this WE, they're gonna grab away some void grabs from the tops of the map and trade with the dragon.
WE have been good on the void grubs this game, this series, sorry. Wayward even stealing one in game number 1 of the series. They managed to get 6 in game number 2. It's definitely a priority for the team. However, you're against the Ziggs, and Xiaohao plays around the Ziggs, and I'm here for it. Abel, no cleanse available. Look at the damage! My God, how are you meant to survive that one? Mark now realizes he's got nowhere to go. A bomb on top, and Assum, grabs his hat trick this early in the game, and look how low the tower is as well. It's getting close to satchel range.
He's gonna grab it for sure. Xiaohao staying around, making sure they push the wave really quickly. Maybe you let a couple of these creeps die. No, they just want the fast tempo.
My God. They're so far ahead. It's a 2,000 gold lead in Assum's pocket. 2,000 gold up in 7 minutes. That is obscene. Look at the CS for Abel.
Greedy. It is so greedy to just go for triple farming lane. Let's scale into that late game. RA is just not gonna let you do that. And even though your top lane is bleeding for now, that's because Xiaohao has been putting most of the resources towards diving that bot side of the map. Now they're going to swap. They're going to put the Ziggs towards the top side of the map. As you can see, Xiaoxu is already backing towards that bot side, and top lane is going to be the next tower of attack for the Ziggs. Usually this kind of champion, especially when ahead, he's got Ludens already in his inventory. He's going to take every single tower plating off the map. A lot of the times we even see the triple tower plating go down. We'll see how fast they're able to take that top side tower.
I mean, he's got 6 minutes on the clock to get as many plates as possible. He's got 5 so far. Let's see how many he can get on the top side. I mean, Abel's coming up to try and defend this tower. I'm not sure there's much Abel could really do to stop Assum getting plates at this point. And the thing is, the passive stacks so well with AP for the Ziggs that the speed at which you take the towers is impacted so heavily. I mean, Abel, look, that's half his health gone already. Remember, Assum is level 6 as well, so very close to his second ultimate of the game. You can see it's timing down on the left of your screen. Abel doesn't even have his ultimate yet. Solar Flare is available. Yeah. Abel's in so much trouble. Does have to cleanse, though.
Xiaohao is here again. This is like the 4th time we're camping bot lane, this time on the top.
Flash from the Solar Flare. Xiaohao moves in, mark the target, just a bit of damage, and that is going to be Mum called for Abel. Mark burnt down. Will have to head back to base. And it doesn't even matter that there was no kill because the pressure is still there for RA. All that matters is that they continue to slam against this tower. That's 2 plates taken. Yanshang moves in on the top side. He's got his ultimate available, and Assum did take a tower shot, but I'm not sure this is even a fight they can go for.
Yeah, I don't think there's any threat from the Sejuani right there. Yanshang is pretty much there to make sure that Abel doesn't get dived, which means not only does his clear get slowed down versus the likes of Azira that loves champions showing up on lane so they can farm, so you can farm faster, even more, get more items, more gold, more power onto this Zyra. Yanshang is pretty much an extra ward, an extra body right there, so like his bot lane doesn't get dived again. However, right now, every single time you mentioned it, every single time there's a possible trade for RA, that's a -1 body for WE on the map, which means they get to take more control. There's a bunch of wards towards the top side of the map. And as you can see, boots completed for Assum. He's going to head back to the top side of the map. 2.2k up now.
So far, Wayward is actually doing well in the side lane. That's the positive for WE from what's been happening. Managed to build himself a lead. He's 15 CS up in that side lane. I don't know the Camille Cassante matchup that well. I know later on Camille definitely wins out, but feels like early game, at least in this game, Wayward finding the advantage on this Cassante. Xiaoxu struggling to match in terms of CS numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to push faster. The Cassandra as well. And the trades from Camille. I know that's strong early on. Oh,
That's a cleanse.
the insta-cleanse into the ult. All ultimates thrown in from RA. They're trying to take this tower as far down as possible.
Everyone's slamming out massive artillery ultimates. One to try and dive, one to clear the wave.
He's like, you're gonna bring your water balloons. I'm gonna bring my mom. We're gonna have a party. Xiaohao is like, yeah, I don't want none of that. You guys just keep them busy up top. I'm gonna take the 3 void grabs right here, stopping WE from securing 4 for themselves. And Assum is just pretty much looking to take this tower as low as he can.
Jwei tanks up the ult from Yanshang. It's enough to buy another wave's worth of time, but in the meantime, Grubs are going down. Did get a flash out from Assum.
He's not even tanky. There's just no damage on the side of Team W. There's no damage. There's a Warhammer and that's it. In Abel's inventory. RA just going strong.
Yeah, doesn't even have Celestial opposition yet, so it's not even like there's that initial ability to just deny burst. Xiaohao moves up again. This is getting silly now.
Oh,
as
boy.
Mark just put into the lap of Assum once again, and this tower starting to get low with 3 grubs as well. It just gets easier. And with Mark down, I think Abel realizes this is no longer a defensible position. Has to just go for the reset and Assum with a couple of procs of the passive on top of a satchel charge will finish off yet another tower. Abel takes yet another chunk. The tower shot's coming on through. But there we go. Satchel goes down. 550 more gold into Assum's pocket. He is now 3,000 gold ahead of his lane opponent in that of Abel. And it's about time we sent that 6 to the mid lane, I think.
Oh, that is nuts. Assum, huge in game number 1 on the Jin. Huge in game number 3 on the Zig so far. Let's watch this one more time because Mark steps a little bit too far, gets hit by the root, and the rest is a bouncy castle for him. So we brought water balloons, trampolines. Not fun for a lady on a metal horse. Mark ends up going down, which means the tower goes down with him as well. No one there to defend. No one willing to step up to defend. And this Ziggs is almost on the 2nd item. Almost. And Smolder, on the other hand, is struggling to even finish first.
It's a classic phrase, isn't it? Don't bring a metal horse to a water balloon fight. You'll just go rusty. It's classic wisdom. Mark, unfortunately, did not
Very
listen.
known, of course, yes.
Never be a dragon at a water balloon fight. Another classic. You know, water. Everyone thinks
All the
that
classics.
all animals need to drink. Dragons, they've got fire in the throat. They don't want to be drinking. It'll put it out, probably. You can just say whatever you like about dragons. They're mythical beasts, so I can just... this is my version of dragons, okay, guys? Wayward?
Yeah, and very known facts that Munch has been saying back to back now.
Absolutely.
Very known.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Common wisdom there. FoFo, dived on by Vicla. Vicla, sorry, does have his big ones in the chamber. Won't choose to go for anything just yet. Just gonna, I mean, how the hell have we come back to Corkier's ear, man? Like, what happened? They nerfed the AP junglers and suddenly Corkier's ear is back.
I was about to say, the second you like slightly nerf AP junglers and you don't care too much about putting your jungler on a carry position as well. Like, we have so many facilitating junglers in general in the LPL. A lot of them are carries, but they don't mind playing towards the Sejuanis and the Maokais. And the second you have set up in your jungle, then suddenly Azir springs back up because he gets to push and he gets to be a silent, he gets to be a team fight pressure. So I think Azir is like a pretty good all-arounder mage. The same thing as a Yone, but in an AP form. Talking about AP form, the AD carry of RA is in AP form. This game around Assum sporting the Ziggs. Trying to put some pressure down that mid lane tower, and Herald plus Zig Satchel will take that one down for free.
Jwei caught by the Sejuani ultimate flashes to safety here. I'm surprised that we even want to fight at this point in the game, but deterred by RA. They continue to try and get damage down. The bombs are doing so much work from Assum. He does have his Mega Inferno bomb available.
Oh my God.
Hunts it out, sends the solo laners back in, and that's an opportunity to just slam the Herald in this mid lane. I mean, they've already chunked everyone out so heavily. That tower's not available, Jwei. That was a disaster. That could have been a tier 2. That could have been a tier 2, Jwei. That was terrible.
Okay, so what happened there is that they wanted to use the satchel on tier 1 to take that down as Jwei was charging through to tier 2, and then they'd be able to use all the pressure and all the creeps that came from tier 1 to potentially try to take down in tier 2 as well, or at least get into satchel number 2 range. They didn't quite coordinate this as well. Yeah.
I like the idea.
They got the tier 1.
You know what?
The idea was there, the execution not so much.
I like the gumption to try it. You got the tier 1 anyway. It was a total waste of the Herald in the end, but you know what? At least we got a little bit of fun
the
out
Herald
of it,
didn't do anything there, but hey.
Yeah. And just charge into an invincible tower is what it is. But hey, you know, they tried. And if they pulled it off, it would have looked pretty cool. And in a game like this, when you're so far ahead, I guess you could afford to make a risky, stylish play, and especially when you're already going to be in those series for playoffs. It's just about seeding for RA at this point, remember. This is nowhere near as much pressure for RA as it is for WE. They're kind of trying to style at this point, perhaps. Jwei gets his Scar reward over. Excellently trained there. And no shenanigans. We're getting the wards into the Tri-Brush. X-Flash, as Vicla is here too. I mean, that would be a 2v3,
right.
but Assum would be in range for his ultimate, so it's sort of 2.5.
Yeah, Nara are playing so aggressive, knowing that they have less numbers towards the top side of the map. WE have to commit 3 bodies to try and protect FoFo to push up this tower. And again, FoFo is one of those guys that when you go into that late game, when he's got his items on his carry champions, things like the Jwei, the Corki that we watched, the Azir, one of his main champions that he's known for as well. Like, this man can carry your team fights. We've seen him dig WE out of a little graveyard with plain Azir and Jwei over in Spring. So if any man can do it on these champions, it is him. He's gonna have to go up against an Assum with a 3k lead and 2 items in his inventory, plus an Needless Last Rod. Oh my god. Such a strong Ziggs. But he does find the shuffle onto him. This could be a very huge turnaround for WE.
FoFo hunting there was looking for a shuffle onto Vicla, I think, but Vicla Valkyries to safety, even managed to get a big one at the back end of the trade. Does go even. Xiaohao and Jwei moved up that top side as well. Assum can just clear the way from so far away. We've not mentioned Smolder stacks a single time this game. Abel on 130.
There's a Smolder in the game.
As I'm not sure he's stacking anytime soon. Locked up inside the bomb. Oh god, the combo is just dirty.
Yeah, and this is going to be the rest of the... This is going to be the rest of the case here for the team fights to come. You definitely don't want to be going on to FoFo. He can push you out of the ult and then he breaks. But Abel has no chance breaking free out of it. FoFo is hunting for Vicla one more time.
FoFo hunting, finding nothing, unfortunately. Steps on a twig. And the scared deer that is Vicla leaps away, bounds through the forest. Xiaoxu though, just sees a free opportunity to get an ult on Abel. Half health's him, the bomb comes in, Q2, lovely.
Mum sees Smolder die.
Absolutely
doesn't
devastated,
get there in time.
yeah. Flies over like, no, my son. That's also Mark.
Oh well, WE, they've got a really hard task at hand again. I think they do rely a lot heavily on Wayward and FoFo, but primarily FoFo. Wayward is playing the Cassante, and sure, it can be strong enough, and it sure can be a nuisance in the backline. However, this is not Season 13 Cassante anymore. This is Season 14 Cassante. A slightly nerfed version of what you guys remember, of what the memes were made of. But FoFo right here on the Azir has the chance to be the difference maker. Of course, it's going to take a while. Still in the side lane, trying to pressure, trying to get some items in. Very, very close. That second item of his as well. However, I'm looking at Assum, and every time I'm saying FoFo is close to the second item, Assum almost has a Needless Last Rod. Sorry, a death cap. He's got 2 Needless Last Rods. So whoever gets locked up in the Camille ult will most likely be taking a huge chunk of their HP gone.
Oh, flash from Mark, and Yanxiang actually throws out his Glacial Prison as well, just to make sure they can get away to safety. And again, oh, hang on, Jwei might have overstepped for a second here. Stun comes on through. I don't think there's any follow-up, though. Although, Mom comes in, TP behind as well. Assum Gonna try and DPS his way through this one. Xiaohao pulled over the wall, and WE find themselves a pick.
They pull down the TP from Wayward to flank RA. They walk too far deep into the jungle. And all this time, RA, sure they have the lead, but if you're not gonna play around the person that has the lead, then there is no lead on the map. Assum is constantly pushing down those waves, trying to get that needed sludge rod to come through. And even though RA have gotten 3 dragons for themselves, it would have been a very easy task to just wait up, get the needed sludge rod, possibly play for that 4th dragon, get that soul. It's gonna be an Inferno, even more of a hurt on all this damage that Ziggs is already bringing into the game.
Yeah.
But the overextension of that, we've seen it one too many times for RA. They get a little bit too over-eager when they're ahead. However,
and it's always
you being
Xiaohao.
ahead is all on Assum.
It's always Xiaohao as well, but I guess Jwei gets a
You
little
have to
bit
do
of
that,
credit as
man.
well. One thing I will say, the win condition we set out for WE was all about the scaling, right? 5v5 at 45 minutes, this comp looks insane. However, like you say, Infernal Soul spawning in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, that is a timer and a half. They're 5,000 gold down right now. 2 items now finished for FoFo. Abel, I don't think will be quite there onto his 2nd item at the time, but I think they're sort of running out of time to be able to scale. They're just going to have to deal with what they've got. I don't know if Assum will be able to maybe finish his death camp before Drake spawns as well. That'd be huge for RA if he could. But there we go. Rylai's just finished off for Xiaohao. The recall comes through for Assum. Let's see if the death cap is available.
Has to be there. Oh, he sold something. There you go.
There it is.
Death cap completed. 3 full items, 22 minutes in. 3 items, Ziggs, 3.3k lead, and Abel is going for a little bit more of a defensive item for his 2nd one as well. Looking towards that Bloodthirster, trying to keep himself alive. I don't know if the Bloodthirster is going to do much.
Is it a GA 2nd item angle for Abel? Like, is that where we're at in this game? Honestly, I have no idea how he's going to survive when Xiaoxu dives in. 2 items for Xiaoxu, by the way. So it ain't getting any easier.
He doesn't even need the Ziggs bomb.
No.
He doesn't even need the Ziggs bomb at this point. He just dives into Abel. Abel dies. Oh boy, this is going to be a hard one. WE are going to have to figure out a way of maybe catching Xiaohao again by overextending, but that relies on to Xiaohao actually overextending.
The depressing thing as well is Abel is 30 stacks away from his smolder passive. Had there just been like 1 less dive during this game, maybe he has his passive and maybe there's some outside angle for WE, but without it, I'm not so sure. Solar Flare right between everyone. Jwei walks away. The Strangle Thorns pushes them back. Bombs flying on it. WE are being whittled down as Yanshank falls. Xiaoxu just dives among everyone. FoFo forced to flash. It's a 2-for-1, but that's enough. Although Vicla wants a little bit more. Wayward dives in to try and punish, but Vicla survives. And it's FoFo to go down. What a play from Vicla!
Absolutely great stuff right there from Vicla. Dives forward into 3. Puts down as much damage as possible. Knows he has the backup of his team. RA, every time they dive forward as a unit. All of their carries are going to be up, except Xiaoxu, and they're going to grab the soul for themselves as well. A lot of pings going down for Baron too. Let's watch this one more time. I feel like RA, they're just throwing bodies forward. They're looking at Wayward and they're like, sure, we have 3 carries. They're all fed. 4 carries with the addition of Xiaoxu right there onto the Camille. And they just literally press W button forward.
I mean, Xiaoxu is pulled in by the all out there, but actually gets that extra kill off the back of it. And Vicla just goes in 1v3, flashes away. Wayward falls, and then easy follow-up for the rest of RA onto FoFo as well. Abel survives for the first time this game. He actually lived through a fight. But unfortunately, WE, they're now against Infernal Soul as well. Oh, God, it's only getting harder. And that's a Blighted Crystal for Assum. Like, he just does insane damage. I just can't get over quite how much damage Assum does. If a bomb hits onto everyone, the game just ends.
Okay, let's pretend we're not looking at RA at all. I'm just gonna remove me from my side right here. The positives are, you've got Hourglass onto your Azir, can stay a little bit more safe, and you've got Bloodthirster plus stacks already for Abel's Smolder. Again, RA have made these whoopsies one too many times where they're just overextending the jungle right now.
I I mean, that's the Stranglethorns down. Yanxiang will survive. Abel forced to cleanse with a Mega Inferno bomb. Yanxiang feeling the brunt of it. Abel alive, has that Bloodthirster, tries to clear the way, but with a cannon there, it's not enough. Tier 2 taken, and RA with a jungler down on the enemy side can move over to the Baron. The 2 games in this series that RA have been ahead in have been domination from start to finish.
Yeah, let's remember they were actually ahead in game number 2 as well. WE now, what do you have? 4 versus 5.
God, Mark, where did his health go? Face checks in. Novus gets one shot. Jwei has the flash away. Xiaoxu diving onto the backside. Abel wanted to stack that passive up. The passive is gone. He is gone. FoFo trying to carry, but everybody walks away. He just doesn't have the damage. It's a clean ace. Yanxiang finally respawns onto the map, makes his way over. I mean, can he go for some kind of miracle? There's no flash available at 7. I don't even think he gets here in time, to be honest. 3K on the Baron. It will fall. Yanxiang moves in. Oh, he's just a second too late. And it means he goes down alongside it.
Oh, and you could see the frustration on his face as well, as he knew that he had the possibility to steal that Baron. No one's going to have it on them. I don't think Mark was even spawned back then. However, denying it from RA could potentially give you a little bit more time, and I feel this is pretty much it for WE here. RA are just so freaking fed. So much damage in their inventory. That was as Mark trying to find a way forward for his team, trying to enable Abel and FoFo to do some damage, but Abel dies simply to Camille with 2 items. And I think this was one of FoFo's saddest deaths right here. He just blows up. Doesn't even get to use his ult.
So close to finishing those 2 kills in the mid lane as well, but just a hair away, and it's enough.
4 items, 27 minutes
in.
in.
Look at the scoreboard, 15 to 2. This is just a massacre from RA. And it doesn't even feel like, you know, we talked about the late game for WE. Their health bars have been getting a little low for RA during these fights, but with the Baron and with a Ziggs, wait, what happened? There wasn't even a solar flare. What just happened? Did Abel just get one shot?
Him with ult?
Oh, Blast Cone betrays Jwei. He just commits to an all-in instead. Bombs over the wall here as Xiaoxu dives into the mix. Suddenly it's a positive play for RA. Turns out they needed to dive all along. Wayward gets the shutdown. 1,000 gold in his pocket. He's rich on the server, but unfortunately, he won't be on the server for much longer, so it's only imagined wealth. RA absolutely decimating WE here in game number 3. They decimated game number 1 as well. Bit of a whoopsie in game number 2, but at the end of the day, a fantastic series for RA. Definitely some things to clean up, but a lot of positives to take away.
Damn. RA, when they want a team fight, they look so decisive. They move as a unit, they dive as a unit, they fight as a unit. And this is one of the traits that we've seen from really good LPL teams towards the upper scale of things over in Group Ascend. The fact that they're willing to throw their bodies and fight at the same time. And we mentioned that Jwei was going to be one of the front runners in terms of finding engages, creating opportunity for his team. He's had a fantastic game, both him and Assum, on the bot side of the map. Great stuff from RA. A very decisive series. I'm gonna be willing to overlook game 2 because I felt like it was a very greedy move from Xiaohao to go for that Lee Sin.
Yeah, and the dives as well were a little egregious, it has to be said. I think they were vibing in game number 2. But game 1 and 3, phenomenal for RA. That's 4 wins in a row for RA now. Fantastic little streak for them. They are tied